remember I was talking to you about that guy Andrew Tate. He's like a
Yeah.
So did you see the interview with Piers Morgan?
No.
Okay.
Is this recent?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just watch this. I want to see what you think about it.
Okay.
Should young men though all aspire to be like you?
Should young men aspire to work very hard, have no criminal record, become multimillionaires, protect and provide for the women close to them, be sovereign so they can stand up and have their own points of view in face of cancellation, be able to not be mentally intimidated when they go on national TV and there's traps set up for them? Yeah, I believe that confident, strong men who stand up and protect and provide for women are a good thing for the world and a good force for the world. I'm certainly not the worst influence out here, Piers. You have Lil Nas twerking on the devil on music videos, which our children are digesting. You have drill artists singing about stabbing people to death in the middle of a knife crime epidemic. I'm not the devil. There are certainly worse people than me. And
I don't disagree
and they exist.
with
And I'm saying that my core tenets for the people who don't understand me are self-accountability, so I'm accountable for everything I've ever said. My core tenets are responsibility, so I'm responsible for everything I've said. My core tenets are traditional masculinity to a degree, which involves protecting and providing for women.
So this is right on the verge of him getting canceled, right? For saying some misogynistic things. He became sort of a target for the
What's big
feminism or
entertainment now.
whatever.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people just don't understand that there's nuance to everything, and that when somebody says something, it's
It could mean
they take they take the core tenets of what they think that person is meaning, as opposed to what the words say, and then they spin it, which is crazy. I pretty much agree with everything he's just said so far.
Exactly. Okay. So you probably be one of the women then, maybe.
What? That would stand up for him?
Yeah.
I'm not going out on a limb for this guy. But what I mean, I'll always stand up for what I feel and what my value, like what I believe. And there are, you know what? There was like a TikTok or something of a woman. There's two young girls. They're probably like 26, and one of the girls in the car looks over to the other girl and she's like, "Hey, Sally." Basically, they were like. Or it was like, what do you do to have such a nice ring and not have to work all day? That's what she said to her. What do you do to not have to work? And she's like, I love my husband and I take care of him and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, that poor girl gets all this pushback of how she's bringing down women and blah, blah, just stupid stuff. And it's like, she's allowed to live however the hell she wants. But if you feel like you need to go work and slave every day and have some sort of a corporate job and make your own way, awesome. You do you. Yeah. But don't piss on somebody else who wants to live a different way.
This guy, Piers Morgan. So I guess we're on the same page or whatever. But what do you think this guy's thinking? Look how this is why
Piers Morgan?
I was into this interview.
I'm wondering why Piers Morgan even had him on. He's looking. I think he's dying for topics. So he got canceled a whole bunch of times.
But there was also, I think, quite a disturbing piece that BuzzFeed did. And it talked about the negative impact of young, impressionable male minds when they've read or seen some of the more inflammatory things you've said. And they quoted, for example, Sandy, 22, from Washington. My father's gone from a man who minored in women's studies in college, who was kind and in touch with his emotions, treated all people, men and women around him, with kindness, to a man who says that whenever he sees an effeminate male stranger, he gets an overwhelming urge to murder them. He loves podcasts. He listens to a lot of podcasts. I know he's listened to Andrew Tate.
Whoa. Let's stop for a second. Let's be professional here, Piers, because you're a professional, as am I. First, she said, did you say that my father went? She said, my father has gone.
Her father.
That's a full-grown man, firstly. So we're talking about my impact on children. You just talked about a full-grown man here. Secondly, I've never talked about murdering effeminate men in anything online ever, in any context ever. So I don't know why they have taken some random person I've never met in the world who's full-grown, an adult, and come to their own conclusions who I've never met and lumped his name in with mine. That is absolutely unfair on every level. I didn't read this BuzzFeed. I didn't read this BuzzFeed article, but after hearing the first point, I know it's trash.
Okay. So you kind of get it. So my point with this whole thing is, what are they doing in the media now? Like anything you say, and it's like big.
They're trying to get clicks. It's all about clicks, and it's not, and it's so unhealthy, and it's not about stimulating discussion. It's about writing an article that's going to get clicks and then
Right.
you're gonna promote your career, right? I learned like a while ago that this was the path we were going down. People don't investigate where they get their information from. They don't even look at what the website's called that they're reading this bullshit from. They just go off of whatever is on their Instagram feed and the links that are in their bios, right? The accounts that they're following on Instagram, they click the bios and whatever those articles say is fact.